Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started in just a second, and we'll make sure we've got, it looks like about 50 folks online here. So we'll get Scott to get us going here, and he'll start up in just a second. So be patient for just a minute or two. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry about that. We lost connection there for a second. Thank you for joining this afternoon. We're excited to be launching our first training on envision360, a platform we feel will be a significant assist for you in what you do with working with Experient. So to give you a quick history of how we've come to today, we for years actually created, for those of you that have been coming to Envision since its beginning, so we're entering our 11th year. Back in the beginning, we actually handed out full books of what was called the client directory. And we moved from that roughly about 7 years ago to an online directory supported by a great partner of ours called OmniPress. And over the last couple of years, we wanted to look at something different. So I'm honored to have Mark Sylvester with introNetworks, a friend of mine for greater than 10 years. And his platform, him and I have been talking about it for years actually, but the idea was to try to create something, an environment where our people, which we can call buyers, and you all the supplier community, can get together and have a platform in which to share important customer data or opportunity or prospect data, as well as what a new component we added to the mix is more personal information as well. So kind of taking along the lines of what you have today with the social medias, the Facebooks and what have you, LinkedIn's, all that, but provide greater information to you to help you, get to know our people, learn about client and prospect opportunities, and have something we feel is kind of built for the long haul. So we're really excited about it. It's something that we feel is going to greatly enhance the Envision experience for all of you. We can't do this sort of thing without feedback. So, not only today, but going forward, as you experience the platform, feel free to make sure you provide us feedback on what you think, things that you'd like us to maybe retool, ideas, so that we can continue to get better and improve the platform as we go forward. So I appreciate you guys taking the time today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mark Sylvester and let him run it with it from here. And please feel free to ask questions at the appropriate times. Thanks.
Scott, thanks a lot. Make sure everybody can hear us. So just a couple of housekeeping things over in the chat section of the GoToMeeting control panel. You can type in questions, and I'll take a few breaks to see how those go. I have everybody muted, because if I don't, there's just various audio and it just makes it hard for everyone. I am recording this. Molly will be posting a link to it. So if you want to share this with colleagues, feel free to do that. So let's just get going. So I'm, as Scott said, I'm Mark Sylvester. Been working with Experient for years, started many years ago, and now working on this great project called envision360. So what we're going to do in this session is, you've all by this time gone in and created a profile. What I'm going to do is tell you why you want to make that profile even more awesome. I'm also going to show you how to search, and then also how to be found, and then some nuances of the profile. So think of this as kind of a little bit of an advanced class, and then various ways to view your connections. So we're going to keep it short and sweet. By the way, we also, inside envision360, you may have seen that there are links to videos. So there's little, what we call 2-minute tips that you can go in and learn things very, very quickly. So what is envision360? As Scott said, it's this, it's kind of an Uber directory, if you will, for all the various people in this this ecosystem, experienced staff and clients and people that come to the conference and partners. The idea is that there over time is going to be a place for us to have private conversations, share best practices, share information. But think of it, it's all private. So this is a spam-free zone. We all know what it's like when we're out there on the internet in these places where the signal to noise, if you will, gets pretty bad. And so what we want is to keep this a very high value for you. And most importantly, though, it's a way for you to make connections with other people. So you've seen how to do a profile. I'm just going to just remind us very quickly that that the profile was the first thing that you did. By the way, if you ever want to edit your profile, you can go ahead and click in the upper right. But this was your information. And by the way, if you change jobs or your phone number changed, you can go in and change that so people can always get in touch with you. And the second piece was the tags. Remember, this is where you went through and found things that you were interested in or things that you are, like people would say, I'm ambitious. I dragged that word. Now, many of you, maybe what you did was you clicked this button and the word just magically popped to the top. But did you know you could take and move these words? So if you say, gosh, I really am ambitious, but I'm not as adventuresome, you can take and move these words anywhere you want. So if you're very analytical, which is a word, you might do them. You see that little, I want this one at 74, I want this one at 68. You could do that, or you could just be as free form as you want. And then depending on the type of pin that you are, you're going to be presented with different kinds of questions. And these are all optional, but we tried to make them interesting. Again, I will show you why that's important later. And then you can also put a picture, put in some websites, create a short little video, put in some photos. But that's the profile. That's the part that, and when you're done with that, the payoff for you is it shows your connections. You're at the center of the universe here, and then you have people arranged around the outside of you. So things you might have missed, like how do I edit my settings, right? There's a little gear right on that contact information. You can click that and change how you get notified of emails and things like that. Talk to me about. And talk to me about is this real interesting thing in that, let's go back and look at the site. So I'm going to pick on somebody here. And Samantha, when we look at this and we see, what she's done, how she can help others, but the kind of the most important part here is she's talking about travel, real estate, and architecture, which is interesting, and lifestyle and brand management. So bam, I don't even have to go digging in, though. Look at how much other there's a ton of information here, but we know right off the top what is going to be the easiest thing for me to start a conversation with her. So if you haven't filled out your talk to me about words, they can be, let's go look at other things. Here's innovation. By the way, you can just click other ones. So see what we're learning about people. This is just fantastic. Now see, Sarah didn't put anything up there, which is fine. Also, notice she hasn't completed all of her information here. So, but we're still showing her profile out here. You really want to get in there and make sure you put in tags. The more tags you pick, the easier it's going to be for other people to find you. Okay, so that's talk to me about. Now, the next thing is that repositioning the tags. So remember that the tags that are at the top of the list are more important. And that actually makes a difference in how close pins are to you. But also, when I'm looking at, let's pick Patrick here. I'm looking at his tags. The tags that are at the top are the most important to him. So I get a sense of all of the things, like, for instance, board games. That's interesting, but it's way high on his list. But he's also athletic. He likes biking. So we get a sense right off the bat what's important to him. And the words in color are the things that we have in common. They're also ranked so that now you understand why putting the words in certain places are interesting. And look at, we actually can connect some dots here because we both are into idea generation, innovation. He's also ambitious, conceptual, creative. And he'd be a great guy for a brainstorming session. But what's really interesting is he says he's a foodie. Talk to him about food. I'm a chef in my alternate universe. So boom, I've already found 3 or 4 things that we could talk about, even though he says he could help with budget planning. What he really wants to talk about is all of this other stuff. Oh, and bucket lists. So you could see the whole idea, and Scott said that what he wanted to do with envision360 was have more personal things that we could make connections on. And Margaret, yes, it does look like it's in alphabetical order, but it is actually in the order of importance. It's just a coincidence here that it's alphabetical. So it is absolutely just in Patrick's case, that is a coincidence. So,
hey, Mark, can you touch on more information, the more information tab as well?
Sure. So let's go pick on Nancy this time. And so if we're looking at the card, we have, by the way, Nancy gets a gold star because she picked 10 words in each category, which is great. And more information is she says she has SAM account. She got started as a marketing assistant. Water sports, that's interesting. Oh, and I like this. She says, talk to me about public speaking. Here, if she weren't in this business, she'd be a news analyst, reporter, or correspondent. So that's the other place where we can learn. By the way, notice I can just randomly be clicking on pins, and then a little, who is this waitressing? Margot got started waitressing. There you go. I love it. But this little arrow here lets you go back and forth. So if you're looking between 2 or 3 different cards, you can go back and forth between those cards very, very easily. Okay?
Hey, Mark, do you mind if I comment on that real quick?
Go for it.
For everybody on the call, one thing we tried to do was almost take that, customer profile information that you guys are also interested in and load it into envision360. So you can imagine someone having a site visit and, understanding who from the staff, from the experienced staff might be coming into town and wondering really what their interests are, what type of foods they are, what type of foods they like, those sorts of hobbies, those sorts of things. It's all available within the system. Additionally, great information like birthdays are loaded into the system as well. So it's really a platform for you to assist with vital business meetings, things that you want to do throughout the year to make sure you're engaged with our people and recognizing them on important days, etc.
There you go. That's exactly it. And the last thing was make sure you put a picture of yourself. It makes a huge, huge difference. So let's now talk about search, because we've got all of this amazing information in there. And we can, when we search, we can select any of those tags. So if we were looking for people who were, we'll go in and do this, but we're looking for very specific sets or subsets, we can do that. We could also go in any of those fields that we're looking at on the More Information tab. So we could find all the people who said if they weren't in this field, they would be a reporter, like the one lady had said. We can search by distance. We can save our searches. So if there's a particular type of person you're looking for, you build a search set and you see, okay, there's 11. Well, this is a dynamic system. It's not a static audience. So there's people joining all the time. So you'll be able to go back to that search and see if anybody new that met your criteria showed up. Okay? So let's go in and look at how search works. So it's right up here. By the way, if you just remembered that the guy's name was Steve, but you lost his card, you can go in and look at all the people named Steve, or have the word Steve in their record. By the way, we can look at a list, which makes it a lot easier to find names. And you'll also notice these black pins. These are all clients that have the name Steve in there in some way or another. Well, let's go back to, I'm going to reset my search. and go back to my pin view. And then where we're going to do is we're going to see advanced search. By the way, all the black pins around the outside are the clients. So I want to look for banquets and someone who could help with creative thinking. And I like to start big and work small. So we'll do banquets and creative thinking, and we'll hit the search button. Okay, you see it works pretty quick. It's going through a lot of different records, and now is when we want to use the legend. So we see the colored pins equal certain people. So if I want to talk to just Experient people, I might turn off the other pins. I just go ahead and do that. Really, really easy to do. That's a little bit of an advanced tip. But so now I found 28 people, and it also shows me up here that I was looking for banquets and creative thinking. Now, let's say that I wanted to, I want to send a message to one of these people after I've kind of gone in and looked at all of them. I would simply go in and click send message, and then I go in and type what I want. This message is in the system, but it also goes right to their mobile or their email, their Outlook, or whatever, and they can reply right from that. So they don't have to come into the system to reply to you. But let's look at this set of people a little closer. I really don't have time to roll over all the pins, and I don't really learn a lot here, but I could look at a map view of them so I see where they're located, because I might be going to Denver and I could see those people. But in this case, I am looking at the ability to maybe pull these people into a virtual meeting. So I want to go in and look and say, what else do they have in common? So these are the top 40 words that those people have in common. So we talked about banquets and creative thinking. And I might actually want to look at meeting management. So there's 22 people could do that, but I like the word adventure, which is interesting because I actually like that. So I'm going to go back to my search, and I'm going to come on to here. I'm going to select the word adventure, and others view me as adventurous. And let's see what that does, because what we're trying to do, most of the time, I can't deal with 20 or 30 or 40 results. As you know, it's kind of like the first page in Google. So I want to get it down to a reasonable number. 7 is absolutely a reasonable number. I could go ahead and send them a message, invite them, whatever it is that I want to do, very, very easily. So that's one way of doing search. So let's go back here to our advanced search. I'm going to reset this, and I'm going to show, I've got a couple of questions here. One on how to look for room nights on client accounts. Yes, I will do that. Will this be active post Envision? Yes, Judy, this is up full time. So it's up all along. And then Carl says, is the email in the regular inbox? It is, Carl, it's in both. It's in your inbox, which is over here in the message center, and it just gets to your Outlook. So let's go to our fields. So what Molly suggested is looking for room nights. So if I come down here, I'm looking, these are every single field in the system. There's room nights. And I'm looking for someone who's booking 2,500 to 5,000 room nights. I'm going to search. Now, that shows me all these. Now, just so you know, the reason these pins are on the outside is because they don't have tags. So we don't know the personal interests of all them. So the way you're going to want to look at them is either on a map. So these are all of the clients that have room nights over between 2,500 and 5,000. But here we can look at them this way. Now, here's ARP. I pick them, and I'm going to go and look, and I'm going to start looking at this, and I see, there we go. The account owner is Brian, sourcing manager is Amy. So now I can go look for, Strickland up here, because if I want to talk to him about that, I can come up here, type in Strickland, and he ought to be in here. There he is. Boom, boom. Now I can send him a message and say I'd like to talk to him about ARP. That simple, okay? Very, very easy. Judy asks, is all the client up to date? on all, is the client data up to date? It absolutely is. So what we have done, we work with Molly and her crack team of data people to make sure that this is updated all the time. And then you're in charge of keeping your information fresh. So, and it said, so that's where you want to edit your profile. Margaret says, are the meeting profiles that Experient works with in there? That's a good question. Scott?
So what? What was the question?
Are the meetings profiles that Experient works with in there?
I'm not necessarily following the question.
Margaret,
so Judy,
maybe you can refresh that one. I'll answer. Tammy says, I've not completed my 360 profile. Where and how do I do that? Tammy, you go to look at the top of the screen, envision360.intronetworks.com. And over on the left side, it'll say new user, sign up. You do that, okay? And then you'll catch up. Okay, so that's how you do your searching. It's really that simple. So you can, on the fields, look at, I mean, everything that's in there. So if you're looking at a particular city or a zip code, a country, or again, every single thing. And you can do multiples. So you can look at, I want someone who's in ESN region A, and then I can go to, yes, oh yes, okay. So Margaret says, like the meeting names, peak rooms, specs, all of that. That's what she was asking. And then Shelley wants to know, are you able to search by department, such as sourcing? Molly, I don't think we did that.
So yeah, you should be able to search by department, and you can always just go in the search bar on the left, just on the main screen, and type in sourcing, and it should pull up those from our staff who are in the system with the sourcing department. And then regarding the question about the client information, we do have certain client information in the system. We have the room nights, organizational profile. There are some others as well I just can't think of off the top of my head. But yes, we do have that good client information in there for you. And then we are going to be updating it definitely right before Envision and stuff. We'll make sure, we have, the latest and greatest in there. It is up to date right now as well, but we'll just do another poll in the next coming week so that we make sure if there were any changes that they're all there.
Thanks, Molly.
You shouldn't see a big change in the type of data that's available from 2016. So it's going to be very similar. It's just going to be how you go about looking for it and pulling it is going to be a little bit different than in the past. So everything that you've been grown used to in the past will be in the system.
Thank you. Patrick has a question. He wants to know, he needs to change his profile. Was Experient, now he was Experient, now he's a supplier, but he can't edit that. Can we do it? Yeah, we can do that for you. If you have any changes or if you have any challenges, click the Contact Us button down here, and just that goes to our support crew and or Molly if applicable, and we'll fix that right away. Gavin wants to know, can we source by international meetings?
Yes, all client information is in the system.
There we go. And then Eldridge wants to know, are we able to search for NAMs who handle international meetings? So that's a good one. I don't remember the exact international field that we put in there. Molly?
I don't think we have anything that will filter it down just on international.
But we could, right? That's something
very easily. So we'll look to tweak that and give
that's
instruction
a good idea.
on how to do that.
Good idea. Thank you for that. So Judy says that 1,000 to but in 2016 the range of attendees was of 1,000 to 2,500. That's a big variance. So maybe, Judy, are you asking for there to be a little more granularity in that bit? That's something, yes. Okay, got it. Is this program how we make Envision 2017 appointments? That's a good one, guys. No. How do they do that, Scott?
We're coming out. We actually have a new platform there as well, and that's going to be coming out in the early part of February. This is really, a separate, platform that we're going to use purely throughout the year. It will help you with your appointment scheduling, because you'll be able to identify maybe some accounts and some account owners that you want to meet with at Envision. So look at this as like a preview to Envision, but something that you'll work with throughout the year, all year.
So, and then she says, can you give us the exact date it is coming out so we don't miss it? Well, everybody gets email, so it'll come out the next week, right, Scott?
No, I promise you, you will not miss an email relating to the appointment processing. It's going to be, I believe, around the 6th, I believe, where you'll get you'll get a communication from the team on that, understanding that it could float a few days from the 6th, but right around there.
Perfect. And then after the event, if you are planning on, you would like to meet with someone and set up a meeting, there's actually a meeting invite button. So if I want to have a meeting with Nicole, I can click meeting invite, and then I can come in and put when I would like to meet, put in my time zone, whatever that is, and then type in what I want. So this is it makes it easier for you if you want to do that. So so that search is amazing. It's, I think, the most powerful utility, being able to search on any combination of things as I showed you. So it could be a combination of tags, combination of fields. For instance, I use it all the time, like only show me people who were new in the last 30 days, or show me people that live within 25 miles of me. So it's just kind of crazy how much. Can you look up all accounts by alpha? Yeah, absolutely, Carl. Absolutely, you can do that. That's what I like about the list. So you can sort by name, first name, last name, alphabetically, alpha by all of that. So yes, so Dale wants to know that the process to make appointments during the event will be explained for the first timers. Yeah, Dale, they're quite good about all of that. And then Ken wants to know, how does my organization use this other than me? That one's for you, Scott.
And on their registration.
You need to, what we've tried to do is keep it specific to the individual that's attending Envision. So the login is yours. We would prefer that you don't share it outside of, say, your internal office there, but it's obviously a slippery slope for us, because we don't want access being granted to too many people. So some of the sponsors that may be on the call have greater numbers of logins that we provide, but relating to your specific login and password, we would expect that you would keep that to the individual.
Perfect. And Carl wants to know, how do you get to all accounts in the system? You just do search. So as you saw, everything is loaded in there, easy to find out. So we looked at the intro card a little bit. We talked about that, talk to me about being so important. Remember, the color is what you have in common. This is something I put in right in the very beginning, because you don't know it, but I'm kind of shy. And so I like to have a few things chambered when I go to talk to someone. So if I know, when I look at what's important, I'm looking at this card right now, there's 34 things for me to talk to Scott about, including, just his title and the talk to me about. But knowing what we have in common right off the bat, for instance, I would talk to him about film and cinema, and I know we had the Golden Globes, we have the Oscars. Boom, we're talking and we're starting to build our relationship and starting to bond a bit. We could also talk about, all of these various things. So the idea was, I wanted some icebreakers in there that were meaningful. Like, I think it's interesting that he says creative thinking, creative writing, and disruptive thinking. So there's a conversation starter right there. Like, give me an example of when you use disruptive thinking in a meeting. That might be interesting. That might be a fun thing to talk about. And it might actually cause us to go down a conversation path that neither one of us expected. Okay, so that's how you use that. Please, please, please put a picture in there. You're going to see each other at the event. You can actually click on the picture and it'll make it larger. That's just a best practice in social anyway, to always put a picture. Kay wants to know if there's an application for the iPhone and the pad. Yeah, if you go to that URL, envision360.intronetworks.com, you get a subset of it, which is the search, the being able to find people by tag, and being able to actually email them or call them is right there. Absolutely. Then I showed you how you could just click to send a message or invite them to a meeting. Super easy to do. And then I've gone through several different ways of how you visualize. So the pin view, pins that are closest to you, you have more words in common, and the clusters, the 4 quadrants, indicate where you have more things in common. So this is just a simple way to visualize it and make it more interesting. The list view is probably where you're going to spend most of your time, because it lets you very quickly go through pages and pages of results. The map view, again, I use this for planning all the time. If I'm going to be in a city where there might be, I'm a TEDx organizer, so I'm going to go use map view to go find TEDx organizers in the city I'm going to be in, to make it easy. Or if you know you're already going to, like I know we're all going to Cleveland, there may be some other people in Cleveland that you didn't know lived in Cleveland. You can meet them and have a meal. Then the tag view was that interesting way to say, and I use this all the time. So if I know that these are people that I search for the word sourcing, if I look at this, now what I may find, something might pop out to me here, because it might be someone I see F&B. So I'm at 15 of those 40, so it's going to narrow it down because I really want to talk about F&B sourcing, or interesting health and wellness. I might want to add that to the mix, and I go back to advanced search, and now I add those things to the search. Okay, so this was me. My background is in data visualization, and I find that it's can be really overwhelming at times. So I've tried to create tools that allow us to hone in on things really quickly. Like here, I didn't see this word earlier, front office. So it may be good that you have someone with some front office experience. Carl says, please review how to look up account information. So just a simple one, AARP. I'm going to look that up, and it's going to look for, there we go. There it is. I click on it, and it tells me here's the most important one here is where they are, how long they've been a client, what market they're in, number of events. Again, remember, all this is searchable. So you could go find all of the association clients, all of the ones that have more than 51 events, et cetera, et cetera. The various industries, all of this stuff is all searchable. That's how you do it. Super easy. Okay. By the way, if you want to bookmark them, if you will, you can click Add Contact, and then over here in the contact area, you're going to have them listed right there. Okay. So let's see. Let's get back to my deck. And the way you navigate, we showed you how we did search. View connections is where you get to those various views automatically. Remember how to edit a profile. Each of the content areas is clearly marked. So let's just go through those very quickly. When you come into the site the second time, first time it's about building your profile. The second time, you're going to have this dashboard. And the dashboard has these sections. And each section you can change. So for me, I want to know who is coming into the system. So I have it set to recent matches. Okay, I could go to recently updated profiles, and I click on view, and I can look at Kevin, Looks like Kevin updated his profile today. I like the new members because we're Molly and I are always looking at how quickly people are joining. In fact, what's very interesting is this changed while we were on the call. So I'm guessing that some of the people logged in while we were on this. And Allison said, is there a way to see the list of all accounts a SAM handles? Yes, so just go find that person and it shows all of their accounts. So if I would have to find, if I do SAM, that's going to show me, boom, this SAM here. So Molly, you need to help me a little bit here on this.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to look up Ken Seen, S-I-E-N, he's one of our strategic account managers. Yes.
Okay. And there's Ken right there. And oh, by the way, it also showed up. There's all of Ken's accounts. Okay, they're right there. They're all listed. Okay, and we can find them in the more information, which is all of his current accounts. Okay, just like that. Okay, there you go, Allison. So let's come back here. So that's the navigation on this over here. There are groups set up, and we're getting this is getting launched now. And yes, Kay, each account does have a profile. So these are groups. So these are just getting started, which is, and it's the same kind of thing where you can go in and join a group. It's quite easy. So if you want to join the sourcing group, hit the join button. You're in the group. Once you're in a group, there are calendars for that group. If there's meetings, there are forums, and all of this is just getting going. But you can see that there are forums. There's also resources. So there are, like we have the attendee list, training docs and tutorials. There's the blog. There's, I mean, we just click on that and we see a little bit. We click on here to continue reading. It's going to take it there. We can click, see the whole library. So there's tons and tons of resources available to you, staff picks, publications, all of that kind of stuff. So lots and lots of information. And at this point, what I'd like to do is for Envision appointments, are you able to print the account list? Yeah, that's Jamie. That's going to come out with that new platform that they're using for this year. It's going to have all your appointments, and all that information will absolutely be all dialed for you. And again,
hey Mark,
yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you jump into resources real quick? I just want to point something out to everybody.
Sure.
I can't read it, of course. So if you click on industry events staff attendee list for me.
This one? Am I on the right one?
The
industry
events.
There it is. Right.
Yeah, so something that happens a lot for me is I get contacted by our partners and they're asking about who's going to be attending an upcoming show. So as you have an event coming up, for example, PCMA Convening Leaders that just occurred down in Austin, you could actually quickly go into this. We'll make it available pre-event. So instead of calling, you can just log into the system, pull up the attendee list, and now you know who's coming. So that I think is going to be a great help for you. We're doing the same thing with Envision, and I also populated the IMEX Frankfurt 2007 list is also in there as of today.
Yep.
Those are the sorts of things that are going to be made available to you for all major events, for the year, every year. That's it, Mark.
Okay, other questions? So Jamie says, so while this is named envision360, it's all encompassing, not just for Envision. Yes, Jamie, that's why we added the 360 to it. And Margaret says, I like this. Thanks, Margaret. And Serena says, in regard to attendee list for events, are we still able to reach out direct to them?
Absolutely. Just understand that we're trying, like when it comes to any hosted buyer opportunity, we're trying to manage it through my team. So you can feel free to contact them, but just let us know if it's specific to a hosted buyer opportunity, events and things like that. A lot of times it's still important that you kind of work through my team so we know what's going on, and we can make sure we have proper attendance at maybe a function you might be having, a reception, dinners, what have you. But we always welcome you guys going direct to our people. Not an issue there.
So Judy Kent says, this rocks. I like that. Judy, thanks. Judy Smadu says, what a great tool. Can't wait to sign on and start to use this. Thank you. Andrea says, sorry if you already highlighted this, but is this also an app format? It's not an app. You get to it through a browser, but just go through Safari or Chrome or whatever you have on your iPad, and you can search as well. Ken says, cutting edge. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Andrea, you're welcome. Last couple of minutes here. Any other questions? Oh, Serena, thank you. This is a wonderful resource, very proactive and impressive. Scott, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but you can tell me to shut up. But over here on the left, various sponsors, there's the videos, various sponsors have been showing up there. And when I click on a card, Envision partners show up here. So is this available to people if they want to be able to advertise inside envision360? Could they talk to Molly or somebody about that?
Actually, they talked to Hallie Weinberg or myself relating to that. But yes, it's available. We already have some fine sponsors that have jumped in and joined the fund. So thank you for that, and thank you for some of you that are on the phone that supported the launch of this platform. So thank you.
So Carl says under resources, I only have global. So the reason that is, Carl, is because these are resources that are related to the various groups. So if you want to see those, I'm the site manager, one of them, so I can see everything. So your view is just global. If you go in and join one of the groups, which is the appropriate group for you, then you'll see those forums and those resources.
Carl, thanks for pointing that out. We'll look at it because we want to make sure those lists are available to everybody.
Oh, they are. The lists are. The lists are right there in the global. What he sees these other over on the left. There's some other resources he's not seeing, and that's because those are related to the groups. So depending on what groups you're in, you're going to see those things, okay? Well, everybody, this has been great. I appreciate all the good feedback. This project has been in development for a while because we want to make sure we got it right and that we're replacing a legacy system with something that you will get a tremendous amount of value out of. A reminder that you can, let's get back here, reminder that you can contact us just by clicking that little button. If you get stuck, you can hit help down at the bottom. If you ever see a question mark in the upper right, you can click that and get help. We think it's pretty easy. You won't need it, especially now that you've had this overview. So I know that we're going to be doing 2 more workshops in the upcoming weeks, so stay tuned to your email, and we'll be going into those. Any final words there from St. Louis?
I'll just say this is Molly. So once everyone's off the phone, if when you're playing in the site, setting up your profile, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to give me a call, shoot me an email. I'm happy to help. So feel free.
48 days till Envision, everybody.
I love it. Okay, everybody, thanks, and stay safe out there on the roads. We're having a wonderful weather season this year. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.